Hello and welcome back to another video by yours truly. So today's video is going to be the full unboxing and a review of the Seiko 5 SRPK17 limited edition, 55th anniversary limited edition, limited to 15,555 pieces. So we're going to go through the unboxing, the specifications, the dimensions, the wearability, the strap options, as well as answering the question whether or not you should get this watch for yourself. So let's roll up the B-roll and the music and enjoy the show. So let's start the video right here with the unboxing experience. So right here we have the original Seiko 5 logo, Seiko 5 Sports logo inside of an outer box. And we also have an inner box that is red. So one of my viewers in my previous video where I did the initial first impressions of this watch told me that the red box is actually a replica of the old Seiko 5 Sports that also came in a red box like this. So the red box is protected by a plastic shroud right here. So in case you're curious, inside of the outer box, you get the warranty information and the manual. In fact, the manual was put in after when I bought the watch, right? So the AD put the manual inside here, and there used to be a foam right here where the manual used to sit. So he removed the foam and put the manual inside. This manual is just basically a generic manual for all of the Seiko 4R series of movements. So let's get the outer box out of the way and unbox the inner box right here. So as I told you before, the inner red box is a replica of the original Seiko 5 box that was also red in these colors and fonts. So this is a very nice touch that they did. So here we have the watch inside the inner box. And as you can see right here, all the tags are still on it. And I know that YouTube loves this, so I'm going to be peeling off the stickers so that we can go through this unboxing experience together, and so you can also vicariously unbox this watch through me. So let's peel off the stickers together right here. Oh, this is pretty satisfying. I gotta say. Now I understand why people like to watch these sticker peel videos on YouTube. Wow. Oh, it looks like I have to open the clasp here. I'm gonna remove this, and this sticker is off. There's also the blue sticker right here under the case back. All right, and that is done right here. I'm very much surprised because I do have, like, if you haven't seen my previous video, the original from '69, and they do look very similar. This is not the watch that this watch was based on, but this was kind of like a similar model around the same era. As you can see right here, they're very faithfully recreated. The hands and indices and even the case back right here, very faithful to the originals from '69. This is the original from '69, and this is the replica of the original from '68. As you can see right here, if the camera can just focus, the case back, very similar. They even have the half circle right here that's very faithful to the original. So let's size this for my wrist, and we're gonna be coming back with a proper wrist shot and dimensions and specifications. So in terms of dimensions and specifications, I'll put the dimensions right here up on the screen. This watch has dimensions very similar to the Seiko SRPE, aka Dress KX series. The only major difference is that the lug to lug is a little bit longer on the Dress KX compared to the SRPK. The reason being is that the SRPK's lugs goes down, whereas on most watches, the lugs goes out. So because the lugs go down, it allows it to have a very short and compact lug to lug, but it also has implications in terms of straps compatibility, as I'll show you guys later in the video. So this watch has a bi-directional friction-based bezel, as you can see right here, bi-directional. So there's not going to be any alignment problem right here because you can just align it yourself So Seiko solving its own problems right here. So it has a coin edge, so very nice grip on it. It is not, it does require some force to spin, so it is not like super, loose like some other friction bezels you might find elsewhere. This is this friction bezel because the original of this watch from 1968 also had a friction-based bezel. So this is why this also has a friction-based bezel. I kind of prefer the clicky bezels because I like to fidget with it when I have nothing to do. But to the delight of people around me, this has a friction bezel, so it will annoy your neighbors a little bit less. But yeah, very nice. It also has a lume pip right here. I'm going to show you the lume later on in the video. It has the same movement as all the other Seiko 5 Sports series, so the 4R36 movement with a 41-hour power reserve and fairly accurate movement right here. My unit runs about 5 seconds fast a day. So in terms of this bracelet, as you can see right here, very nice solid link bracelet, very retro looking solid link bracelet with a straight end link at the end. One thing that I like to mention is that this bracelet is not very much articulating. So these are the links that I've removed. As you can see right here, this is the maximum that these links can fold. So it is not like, let's say, like a Jubilee bracelet where it can really mold to your wrist. Whereas for this one, really, this is the maximum that it can go. So if I wear it on my wrist right here, this is my 6.5-inch wrist. There are going to be these kind of gaps because the bracelet cannot completely mold to the wrist, but it does feel very comfortable right here. One of my viewers asked me if the bracelet pinches hairs or not. I am Asian. As you can see, I have 0 arm hair, but I did test it out by rubbing this bracelet on my head hair, and it does pinch my head hair. So it'll pinch your hair as well. So the reason why I think this pinches your hair is that when you like do this, right, this part is probably gonna act like a little tweezer right here, so it might pinch your hair. It kind of feels like a little bit like a Casio bracelet. Even though this is solid link and it's very premium, it does have this Casio retro bracelet feel to it. So I think it will pinch the gentlemen out there that have more hairy hair. So another question that I got asked is whether or not the watch is top heavy, and I don't feel like this watch is top heavy because the bracelet, being a solid link bracelet, kind of balances out the watch right here. It is a little bit heavier than the Dress KX that I own because it does have a bezel and a stainless steel case back, but I didn't feel like this watch was more top heavy than the other watches. So if you have other questions regarding this watch, do not hesitate to ask down in the comments below, because I do read all your questions and I try to answer every single one of them. And if you do like these videos, do not hesitate to click that subscribe button, because I have more videos coming up soon on this watch and on other Seikos. So please do not hesitate to subscribe. So the watch also has Lume-Brite lume right here, as you can see right here on the indices, the hands, even the lollipop hand, and on the bezel right here. So very nice turquoise lume on this watch. So I did the unboxing yesterday and I was able to notice that even in the middle of the night I was able to read this watch. So very nice lume on this watch. So the case also has a domed mineral crystal, a domed Hardlex crystal that is not super domed, but you can only see it in these angles right here. So if you look at it from straight down, you won't really be able to see it, but if you look at it from these angles, you'll be able to see the domed Hardlex right here. Another thing I like to mention is that the crown is extremely recessed into the case, so it's very hard to wind right here, so you have to like shake it to charge it, which is not a big deal, but I mean, I do like to wind the crown of my watches before I go to bed, just to make sure that they're still running in the morning. Even though I know that they do have a 41-hour power reserve, I do like to wind it a little bit before going to bed. Some of my viewers in my previous videos also said that this watch looks very nice on different straps, so I decided to test it out myself. As you can see, it does have drilled lugs, so it makes strap changes very easy to do. So let's come back with some straps. So one thing to consider when changing straps on this watch is that the lugs are a little bit unconventional, so they'll go down the case instead of out of the case like most watches. As you can see right here, the lugs go out of the case in this, whereas on this watch the lugs are hidden and they go down the case. As you can see right here, there's a very short distance between the lug hole and the end of the watch. So a lot of straps, like for example this very nice Tropic strap that I wanted to put it on this case, just wouldn't fit because there is not enough room to fit this big protrusion that is outside of the spring bar right here. So I'll show you guys this watch on different straps. So here it is on a nice brown leather strap. As you can see, looks very nice. Kind of makes me look like, you know, a vintage guy that rides on a vintage motorcycle. I don't know, this is the vibe that I get from this. So here I have it on a more dressy, like alligator type strap. Looks pretty nice, as you can see. A little bit more dressy actually. Looks very retro. Like, no, I feel like no matter what strap you put on this, it just looks like something from straight out of the 60s. Looks very retro. So this is a lighter colored brown strap. I'd say it doesn't look as good as the darker brown strap. Let me know down in the comments below which strap you like the most, guys. So here it is on a NATO strap, and because of the unconventional lug configurations, I had to put the strap first and then put the spring bars after, because if I put the spring bars first, as you'll see from the footage, the straps will just not go in. So let's see it on a NATO. Looks pretty good on a NATO as well, but because of the unconventional lugs, it does have like a bit of a weird flare out kind of protrusion here. So maybe I'll be wearing it on the leather straps more. As for me, I am probably going to be wearing it on the original bracelet for a while because it is summer and you know what sweat does to leather, right? So I'm going to be wearing it on this nice original bracelet for a while. So now let's answer the question whether you should buy this watch or not. So if you like the design of this watch after all that I've shown you, absolutely. If you can get it at MSRP, absolutely go get it. The reason being is that this Seiko 5 Sports limited edition is unlike all the other Seiko 5 limited editions that are out there. So all the other Seiko 5 limited editions, basically they're all just, you know, a dial change or handset change or bezel change compared to the traditional 5KX or Dress KX cases. They all use the same cases, the same bracelet. They just change the colors up a little bit and call it a special edition. Whereas for this one, no other Seiko 5s or no other Seikos really have this case, unless you go back, you know, 55 years ago and buy the original. So no other Seikos has this case or this handset or this bezel or this bracelet. So it is a very unique, rare, limited edition Seiko 5, even though it is limited to 15,555 cases. One of the comments in my previous video kind of changed my mind on this, is that Seiko sells a lot of watches per year. I don't know how many, but I'm going to put it up on the screen right here. They sell a lot of watches per year. They have a lot of the retailers around the world, and there's very limited quantities of this watch depending on your localization. For example, the model I got, it's destined for Canada. The way I know is because the date wheel is in French and English. So as you can see, this is English, Wednesday, and then right here, mercredi, this is in French and English. So this is how I know that this watch is destined for the Canadian market, or perhaps maybe the French market. So maybe if you're in the States, the date wheel is going to be English and Spanish. If you're in Japan, there's going to be the JDM domestic models in kanji. If you're in like another country in Europe, you might have the date wheel in another language. So they only assign different limited quantities to different countries. So depending on where you are, it might not be as, you know, unlimited or limited as you thought it was, because there's different amount of the watches assigned for different countries and different dealers. For example, the way I got my watch is that I knew that this watch was coming up, and I immediately told my dealer that I have a very good relationship with, that, hey, if you get this watch, save it for me because I really want it. So he saved it for me. And he also ordered 2 more of these because he thought that, you know, this might be a popular model. So he ordered 3, and he ended up only getting 1. So small dealers might only get 1 or 2 of these watches. So this is why these pretty much have been sold out everywhere. And if you can get your hands on this, it is a highly collectible item. I decided to take it out and wear it because this is how I am with watches. There's no point for me to just keep it in a box and for it to appreciate in value. I like to enjoy them while I can. I only wore it for a day and already scratched it. So there you go. So this watch, very wearable, very collectible, very nice and retro looking. and there's no other Seikos like it. I think that's the main appeal of this watch. There's no other Seikos currently on the market for it. There's like a million 64 MAS series watches, a million like Seiko 5 sports watches with different dials, different bezels, but this one is a unique piece. You won't find another Seiko with the same dial, same case, same bezel, or same bracelet. So it is very, very unique for a Seiko right here. So that's it for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed the show. And if you do like this video and you want to see more, do not hesitate to look at the videos that you see on the screen at the end, as well as comment, like, and subscribe. Especially comment if you have any questions regarding this watch or any other watch or any unrelated question. Write it down in the comments below. I do read all the comments and I do try to answer every single one of them. And please do subscribe as well, because I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers in order to get monetized and get that sweet YouTube money in order to buy more watches to show you guys. So please do not hesitate to like, subscribe, and comment. So until next time, thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.